Afternoon, students. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Sachin Surevan. My qualification is MSc Computer Science, and after completing my computer science, I did B.Ed in year 2016 and 17. And related to this exam, that is PGCET for MCA and MBA, I have 3 years of experience in teaching computer awareness subject and analytical and logical reasoning for banking aspirants as well as for PGCET aspirants. In total, I have 9 years of experience in teaching computer subject for PUC students, for degree students, and for this PGCET and banking aspirants. Okay, today let us learn about Introduction to Computer Organization. Introduction to Computer Organization. Hi Vikas Kumbar. So what do you mean by computer? What do you mean by computer? See, for PGCET entrance exam, you will get a very basic questions from this subject. There is no need to study high level topics. Just understand the basic concepts in all the topics. So what is computer? As you all know, computer is a machine. It is an electronic machine that accepts data from the user. That stores it and retrieves data back to the user when required. Okay, when required. In general, computer consists of three main units. Computer consists of three main units. So one is input unit. Another one is output unit. So one we are having input unit and another we are having output unit. Then what does this unit called? This is also a unit, but what is the name of this unit? It is CPU. Okay, whatever we send input to the computer, that will be sent to the CPU. If we want to retrieve those information back, the CPU will send that information to the output unit. So inside CPU, there are three major units, that is memory unit. Another one is arithmetic and logic unit. We call it as ALU. And the third one is control unit, CU. Okay. Memory unit, arithmetic and logical unit, and control unit. Today let us discuss basics about the computer organization. Once we discuss a basic about the organization of the computer, let us move to the objective part, the questions related to these topics. So today just understand what I'm teaching. So there are three units, that is input unit, output unit, and this is the central processing unit. We call it as secondary storage unit as well for this. Secondary storage unit. We call it as secondary storage unit. So if a person types something, I will give an example. If a person types something from input unit, what are the components of the input unit? Can anybody tell? Components of the input unit are keyboard, mouse, joystick, scanner. All these are comes under input unit. Using those components, we can feed the data to the computer. We can feed the data to the computer using input unit. Whatever we send information to the computer, that information will be sent to the CPU, that is central processing unit. Suppose if I type some notes using keyboard, that is input unit, if I type some notes, that notes will be sent to the CPU and store it in memory unit and stores it in memory unit. This memory unit is a unit which is used to store the data, Once I complete typing the notes, and if I want that notes to be displayed on the monitor, the stored notes will be sent to the output unit, that is monitor. So the notes will be displayed on the monitor. So input unit is a unit which is used to feed the data to the computer, and output unit is the unit which is used to store the data, store the already existing data. What do you mean by existing data? The data which is already present in the CPU, only that much it can show. So output unit is a unit which is used to display the data. So what do you mean by CPU? Central processing unit. What do you mean by CPU? CPU is like the brain or heart of the computer. So inside that CPU there are three major units, that is memory unit, second one is arithmetic and logic unit, and third one is control unit. So what do you mean by memory unit? So memory unit is a unit that is responsible for storing the data or informations. Whatever the data and informations are stored, that will be in the memory unit. Next comes is arithmetic and logic unit. So what does this unit do? You will get questions related to all these. That's why I am teaching you. What do you mean by arithmetic and logic unit? So this is the unit. This is the unit where all the arithmetic and logical calculations happen. All the arithmetic and logical calculations happen in ALU unit. The third comes here is control unit. As the name specifies, control means it controls the transfer of data from one unit to another unit. Control unit is a unit that is responsible for transfer of control from one unit to another unit. So this is the basic components of the computer. So this is the basic component of the computers. So let us discuss about some key points now. Let us discuss about some key points. About some key points here. So what do you mean by data? What do you mean by data? Data is something that which is stored in the computer. So if it is right, then what do you mean by information? You will get at least one question from data or information. So what do you mean by data and what do you mean by information? Both are not same. There is a difference. Data means raw facts. Data means raw facts. Whereas information is processed data. Information is processed data. Let me give one example. If you search something in Google, for example, if you search related to some famous celebrity, for example, if you search about Amitabh Bachchan, whatever the data displayed on the screen related to that celebrity will be raw facts, will be raw facts. Whole and soul data will be displayed. So if you pick some information, some key points which you want, then it becomes information. As I said, data is the raw facts. Data means it is a collection of raw facts, whereas information is processed data. Processed data, it means information is the collection of the data which we require. So when you visit a bank, for example, I am telling you, when you visit some bank, the bank employee will ask your information, not your data. It means they need some important informations from you. So that's why they ask you to provide some informations like Aadhaar card, PAN card, voter ID and all. So there is a huge difference between information and the data. If they ask you, give me your data, if they ask you to give your data, then your data comes here is a raw facts. What all you did since from your childhood, everything comes under the data, but information is only important key points about you. So if you get any questions related to data or information, just keep it in mind. Data is a raw fact. Data is a raw fact, whereas information is a processed data. Processed data. Whereas information is a processed data. Just keep it in mind. Data means there is no there is nothing like structure in data. Only this much sentence will be there, only this much information should be there, nothing like that. Data means it is a huge collection of the raw facts, whereas information is some important points, we call it as processed data. So I will explain about Eniac now. So what do you mean by Eniac? So Eniac is a short form of electronic numerical integrator and calculator. Integrator and calculator. So what do you mean by Eniac? What is it actually? So Eniac is the first electronic computer. It is the first computer which was designed in 1946. Eniac is the first computer. It was designed in 1946. First computer. Designed in 1946. And one more important thing related to the first computer is Vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes were used in ENIAC. So another name for ENIAC is first generation computers. So there are total 5 generations are there. I'll explain rest of them in the next class. So today, what do you, only 3 concepts, just I will revise all the 3 points. Data means it is a raw fact. There is no there is nothing be like processing in the data. So if you process something from the data, it will become information. ENIAC is the electronic numerical integrator and calculator. It is the first computer which was designed in 1946, and vacuum tubes were used in ENIAC. Vacuum tubes were used in ENIAC. Just remember this point. Vacuum tubes were used. Vacuum tubes were used in ENIAC. So the next key point is input unit. Input unit. Input unit. What do you mean by input unit? What do you mean by input unit? Explained. Input unit. Input unit is a unit which is used to feed the data to the computer. It means which is used to input the data to the computer. So what are the examples to the input unit? What are the examples? Because can you tell using which devices we can feed the data to the computer? Using which devices we can send the data to the computer? It is keyboard. Using keyboard, we can feed the data to the computer. Whatever you type using keyboard, that will be sent to the computer. So another example for input unit is mouse and scanner. Scanner is also an example for the input unit. Scanner, what does it do? It scans your photo and sends that photos soft copy to the computer. Whatever the data sent to the computer will come under input unit. So what do you mean by input unit? Input unit is used to feed the data to the computer. To the computer. Joystick, yes Kumbar, yes because joystick also comes under input unit. Light pen comes under input unit. So the best example for input unit is keyboard and mouse. Nowadays joystick, light pens are very rarely used, so I will take keyboard and the mouse. So these two are the examples for the input unit. Using these two devices, we can send the data to the computer. So fifth point is output unit. Output unit. So what do you mean by output unit? Output unit is a unit which is used to show the data to the users. Output unit is a unit which is used to show the data or display the data to the users. So can you tell some examples, Vikas? So these are the questions you will get in your exam. Just understand it generally. Output unit. Can you tell example of the output unit? Keyboard, mouse, joystick, light pen, scanner, All these are input units because using those devices we can feed the data to the computer. Yes, very good, Vikas. Output unit, monitor and speaker. Monitor is used to display the data and speaker is used to uh, play the audio file and it produces the sound. Yes, printer, very good. Printer is an output device, not an input device. Scanner is the input device. You will get questions related to scanner or printer because many things that scanner is also output device. Scanner is an input device and printer is an output device. Why printer is an output device? The soft copy will be converted into hard copy using printer. Printer gives data to you. Printer gives hard copy to the user. It gives out. So it is an output unit. Output unit is the unit that produces information, or output unit is used to display the information, or output unit is the unit that produces information, or it is an unit that produces information. Example, monitor, speaker, printer, speaker, printer, all these comes under output unit. So next comes here is, which unit is this? Control, central processing unit. In that you have memory unit, arithmetical and logical unit, and control unit. Let us discuss about the CPU now. CPU. So the full form of this CPU is central processing unit. Central processing unit. So what do you mean by CPU? CPU is like the brain of the computer or heart of the computer. Without CPU, we cannot call it as a computer. Whatever the data stored will be in the CPU only. There is nothing like all the data is stored in the monitor and all. Monitor is just used to store, used to show the data which is already stored in the CPU. And input devices are used to send the data to the CPU. That's why we call it as CPU is the brain of the computer or heart of the computer. Computer. You may get a question like which is called the brain of the computer. So the right answer is CPU. There is no another name for CPU. It is central processing unit. That's it. Central processing unit, or you can call it as processing, CPU or processor. CPU or processor. Central processing unit or processor is called the brain or heart of the computer. Right here, in simple words, we can call processor. So which is the brain of the computer? If you have an option of CPU, then it is the right. If you have an option of processor, for example, you may get a 4 options like input unit, output unit, processor, and something like a motherboard, which is the brain of the computer. So the right answer is processor. Another name for processor is central processing unit. Next one is memory unit. Memory unit. What do you mean by memory unit? Memory unit is a unit which is used to store the data. Okay. Memory unit is a unit which is used to store the data. It is the part of the CPU, right? Memory unit is the part of the CPU. It is not the memory unit is stored inside the CPU, so it is the part of the CPU. Memory unit is an important part, we can write, or simply we can, it is a part of the CPU. It consists of RAM and ROM. RAM and ROM. So these two are the storage devices. RAM and ROM are the storage devices which is located inside the memory unit. Name implies memory means it is used to store the data. If you want to store something, there should be a RAM and ROM. Okay. Memory unit is a part of the CPU. It consists of RAM and ROM. What do you mean by RAM and what do you mean by ROM? What do you mean by RAM? RAM is an RAM is a short form of random access memory. Random access memory. RAM is a random access memory and ROM is read-only memory. Is read-only memory. So RAM is also a memory and ROM is also a memory. But what is the difference between two? RAM is a volatile in nature. RAM is a volatile in nature. Whereas ROM, that is random read-only memory. Is non-volatile. RAM is a volatile memory and ROM is a non-volatile memory. What is the meaning of volatile and non-volatile? Volatile means whatever the information stored in the RAM, that information will be erased once the computer switches off and restarts it. So whatever the data is stored in the RAM, the data will be erased when you restart the computer. But in ROM, whatever the data is stored once, the data will stay forever until you delete it. So we call it as RAM is a volatile memory. Volatile means temporary memory. Temporary memory. Here. Volatile means temporary. Whatever the informations or data stored in the RAM will stay temporary. Will store temporary until the current switches off. Until the computer switches off, those information will stored in the RAM. Okay. What do you mean by ROM? ROM is a non-volatile. That means it is not it is temporary. Non-volatile means, because can you tell non-volatile means? Non-volatile means permanent. Permanent. Whatever the data is stored in the ROM, the data will stay forever. It will store in the memory. Even if you switch off the computer and turn it on, the data will store there. The data will be there in ROM. ಸೊ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು 4 GB ರ್ಯಾಮ್ 64 GB ರೂಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? 4 GB ರ್ಯಾಮ್ 64 GB ರೋಮ್ ಈ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ 8 GB ರ್ಯಾಮ್ 127 GB ರೋಮ್ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ರ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೋಮ್? ರ್ಯಾಮ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ 4 GB ಯಾಕಿರುತ್ತೆ, ರೋಮ್ 64 ಯಾಕಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, 64 GB ಆರ್ 127 GB. ಮೊದಲು 32 GB ಇತ್ತು. ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮೆಮೊರಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮೆಮೊರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೋರೇಜ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಮೊಬೈಲ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ದ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ರೋಮ್ ಈಸ್ 64. It is larger than RAM. Okay. Then what is this RAM? What is this RAM? 4 GB RAM ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, 8 GB RAM ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ರ್ಯಾಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು GB ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈಗೇನು ನೀವು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಒನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಿ, ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಿ, ಬೇಗ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ರ್ಯಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ರ್ಯಾಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಮೆಮರಿ. ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್. ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ, ರ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಇಂದ ಬೇಗ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರ್ಯಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ರ್ಯಾಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೋಮ್. Just keep it in mind, RAM is a volatile memory. It means temporary memory. Whereas ROM is a non-volatile memory. It means permanent memory. Whatever the information stored in the RAM will be erased if you restart the computer. Okay. And whatever the information stored in the ROM will not be erased even if you restart the computer. Just keep it in mind. If they want to ask questions related to RAM and ROM, this is the main topic. They should ask this one. So there are different types of ROM are there. There are different types of ROM are there. Types of ROM. Types of ROM. Types of ROM. First one is EPROM. EPROM. Second one is PROM. And the third one is EEPROM. First I will write PROM, then I will write EPROM, then EEPROM. What do you mean by PROM? They may ask you to abbreviate this. They may ask the full form of PROM, Programmable Read-Only Memory. The full form of ROM is read-only memory. Here, the full form of this ROM is read-only memory. Then what is this P? P means programmable, read only memory. Next one is EPROM. EPROM. Again, ROM means read only memory. Then what is the full form of EP? It is erasable programmable. It is erasable programmable. EP means erasable programmable. The third one is EEPROM. Again, ROM means read only memory. What do you mean by EEP? It is electrically erasable programmable. Electrically erasable programmable. Whatever the data is stored in the ROM, we cannot, it is not automatically erased. Okay. PROM means programmable read only memory. Programmable read only memory. So what do you mean by EPROM? Electrically programmable, erasable programmable read only memory. What we can erase some programs from the ROM. We call it as erasable programmable. Is it correct? Erasable or electrical? Erasable. Erasable programmable read only memory. Erasable means we can erase some programs. Actually, at the time of manufacturing the ROM, some programs will be installed in the ROM. Okay, we cannot delete it. At the time of manufacture of the ROM, some programs are installed in it. We cannot able to delete it. That is why we call PROM means programmable read only memory. Some programs will be there. EPROM means erasable programmable read only memory. We can erase those programs from the ROM. If we erase some programs from the ROM, we call it as erasable programmable read only memory. The third one is electrically erasable. Okay, we cannot manually erasable, but we can erase those using electrically. Electrically erasable. Electrically erasable programmable read only memory. ROM manufacture ಆಗೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ರೋಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರೋಮ್ ಸಮ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್, we cannot able to delete it. Okay, in ROM. But in types of ROM, there are several different types are there in ROM. In those types, we can erase those programs either electrically or programmable read only memory. So these are the types of ROM: PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. You may get a question to expand EEPROM because many of the students don't know the full form of EE, electrically erasable programmable read only memory. Some might think that electronically erasable programmable read only memory. You will get two options. You will get four options. In that, two options will be electrically or electronically. What is the full form of EEPROM? You will get four options. In that, two options will be start from electrically erasable programmable read only memory and electronically erasable programmable read only memory. The right answer is electrically, not electronically. Just keep it in mind. Next, I'll teach about microcomputers. Microcomputer. So what do you mean by microcomputer? What do you mean by mini computer? What do you mean by mainframe computer? What do you mean by supercomputers? Yes. What do you mean by microcomputer? Microcomputers are the personal computers with limited facilities. Microcomputers are personal computers with limited facilities. PC. PC means it is a personal computer. We all use microcomputers in at our home, offices, and everywhere. We all use just microcomputer with limited facilities. Those facilities will be available for us. Limited. It will be limited. What do you mean by mini computers? What do you mean by mini computers? Mini computers are used for large volume processing. Large volume processing. Mini computers are used for large volume processing. For example, LAN, local area network. If we provide a network locally, then mini computers are used. There we cannot use microcomputer. Microcomputers are for personal use. It is a personal computer with limited facilities, whereas mini computers are used for large scale industries, for large volume of processing. For example, as I said, LAN, services in local area network. If we want to provide services in local areas, we must use mini computers. What is mainframe computers? Mainframe computers are the computers which is used by very large scale industries. Which is used by very large scale industries. In that industries, there are hundreds or thousands of the users will be there. So the mainframe computer is fastest computer which is used in very large scale industries. These computers are accessible by hundreds or thousands of the users. There we cannot use microcomputer. So next one is supercomputers. As the name said, supercomputers are the fastest computers. Supercomputers are the fastest computers. These supercomputers are used in weather forecasting. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಮಳೆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸೂಪರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್. What is microcomputer? Microcomputer is a personal computer with limited facilities. Microcomputer is a personal computer with limited facilities. Mini computers ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is used to provide services in the areas. It is used to provide services. Very large volume of processing should be there. So mini computers used for large volume of processing. Mini computer is used for large volume processing. Mini computer is used for large volume of processing. As I said, example of LAN. Example, Services in local area network. Services in local area network, that is LAN. Is LAN. So what do you mean by mainframe computers? These are the computers which operates at a very large storage capacity. These are the computers. Mainframe computers are computers that operate at a very large storage capacities. ಸೊ ಇದು ಮೇನ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಟೋರೇಜ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Mainframe computers are computers that operate at a very large storage capacity. And one more thing I said about mainframe computers, it is used in large scale industries where hundreds and thousands of workers will be there. So it supports hundreds of workers. It supports hundreds of users. Supports hundreds of users at a time. So next comes is supercomputers. Supercomputers are the fastest computers and it is more expensive than the previous computers. Supercomputers are the fastest computers and it is most expensive. Supercomputers are the fastest computers and it is most expensive. You may get a questions of any one of these, that is microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe and the supercomputers. Which computers are used for very large scale industries? Which computers are used for very large scale industries? Microcomputer, mini computer, mainframe or supercomputers? It is mainframe computers. So which computers is used for personal use? Which computers is used for personal use? It is microcomputer. So the example for microcomputers are personal computers or personal computers, laptops, tablets, all these comes under microcomputers. Example, microcomputer. Examples of microcomputers. Microcomputer is laptop. Laptop is also for personal use only. Laptop, tablets and PC. It means personal computer. Desktop. So these three are the examples for microcomputers. So next is arithmetic and logic unit. I haven't explained this. Arithmetic and logic unit and the control unit, ALU. In short, we call it as ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit. You may get a question like expand ALU. They will give 4 options. The options will be a bit confused, but if you know what is the full form of ALU, you can N marks easily. That is arithmetic and logic unit it is. Arithmetic and logic unit. Arithmetic and logic unit. ALU means arithmetic and logic unit. As I said, ALU is a unit which is used for arithmetic calculations and the logical calculations. It is a unit. So ALU is a unit which is used for arithmetic calculations and the logical calculations. Here arithmetic calculations means addition, subtraction, modulus, division, and the logical calculations means AND gate, OR gate, NOT gate, all this comes under logical gate. So what is ALU? It is the unit where all the arithmetic and it is a unit where all the arithmetic and logic calculations takes place. Arithmetic calculations means addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, percentage, everything comes under arithmetic calculations. I'll write few of them. Addition, subtraction, division, etc. So what do you mean by logical calculations? There are some gates, that is AND gate, OR gate, and NOT gate. We call it as logic gates. So those are the gates used for logic calculations. Logical calculations means which are those gates? AND, OR, NOT. So this AND, OR, and NOT are the logic gates. So it comes under logical calculations. Which is the next? Control unit. Control unit. Control unit. What does it do? What does it do? Control unit. As the name says, it controls the transfer of data from one unit to another unit, or it controls the transfer of data within the system. Control unit is a unit that is responsible for controlling the transfer of data within the system. Control unit is the unit that is responsible for controlling transfer of data. It controls the activities of the system. You can write it as it controls. Control unit means it controls activities of the system. It controls the transfer of data within the system, or it controls the transfer of data from one unit to another unit. It controls the activities of the system. It is responsible for controlling the activities of the system. It not only controls but it coordinates. It is responsible for coordinating and controlling. Control unit is a unit that is responsible for coordinating and controlling the activities of the system. System here means it's a computer. You will get some questions from these topics. So these are the very basics. You may get a questions. Buses. There is a concept called bus or buses. Bus or what do you mean by bus or what do you mean by buses? It is a group of wires. A group of wires is called only this much. What is a bus? Bus means it is a collection of wires or the group of wires. What is a bus? It is a collection of wires or a group of wires. It's called bus. There are different types of buses are there. Types of bus. Types of bus. The first type is control bus. Second type is data bus. Third type is address bus. So what is bus? Bus is a collection of wires or it is a group of wires. It's called a bus. In bus there are three types, that is control bus, data bus and the address bus. Excuse me. Then one by one now. Control bus. Control bus. As the name said, control bus is used to control the signals. Control bus is used to control the signals through the wire. As you already know what is bus. Bus is a collection of wires or group of wires. In using those wires, signals will be transmitted. So control bus is a bus which is responsible for controlling the signals like interrupt signals and all. Is a bus or is a bus that controls. It is a bus that controls the signals. That controls the signals. I will give in detail. Just wait for a while. Control bus is a bus that controls the signals, and it is also used for communicating with other device within the computer. Control bus is used for communicating with other device within the bus. Control bus is a bus that controls the signals and is used for communicating with other devices within the system or within the computer. So control bus, what does it do? It controls the signals and it is used for communicating with another devices, but that device should be within the computer but not outside the computer. Okay. Control bus is, it controls the signals and it communicates with the device. That device is located within the system. The next comes here is data bus. It carries the data bits. Data bus means it carries the data bits. Data bus, it carries the data bits. It carries the data bits. Instead of telling that, it carries the signal from one devices to another devices with the computer or device. Transportation of data. It carries the data from one device to another device within within the system, or it transports the data. It is responsible for transportation of the data. Data bus. Data bus is a bus that carries data bits. It is a bus that carries data from one device to another within the computer or within the system. What is data bus? As you all know, bus is a collection of wires, or it is a group of wires. What do you mean by data bus? Data bus is a bus that carries the data from one device to another device. It means transportation of data from one device to another device. That device should be within the system that provides transportation for the data. Provides transportation. It is a bus that carries data from one device to another within the computer. It provides transportation of the data. So some data within the CPU. CPU ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಡೇಟಾಸ್ ಒಂದು ಮೆಮರಿಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮೆಮರಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಬಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡೇಟಾ ಬಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಬಸ್ that carries data from one device to another within the computer. It provides transportation of the data. Data bus transports the data from one device to another device, whereas control bus controls the communication with other devices within the system. It controls the signals and is used for communicating with other devices. Control bus controls the signals, or it controls the communication between two devices. And data bus means it is the transportation of data. So the third one here is address bus. Address bus means it carries address bits of memory location. It carries the address of the memory's location. address bus. Next is the address bus. Address bus. Address bus. It is a bus that carries the address of the location. Address of memory location of the data. It carries address of the memory location. It carries address. Which address? Address of memory location of data. So address of memory location antandre eno? What do you mean by address of memory? Suppose think that memory is in this structure. Memory is in this structure. So in memory anta ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ರಿ 20 10 ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇದೆ ಡೇಟಾಸ್. So these are the locations of the data, that is 0 1 2 3 and 4 are the all these are the locations of the data. What does address bus do? It carries the address of the memory location of the data. Okay. So ಇದು x ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮಾನಿಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ x ಅನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಬಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಈ x ದು ಮೆಮರಿ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೆಮರಿ ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿದಾರ ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So that is the main job of address bus. Address bus means it carries the address. Address of whom? Address of memory location. Memory location of data. I repeat all three buses. Control bus. Control bus is used for controlling the communication between devices, but those devices should be within the system. System here means computer. What does data bus do? Data bus transports the data from one device to another devices. It provides the transportation of the data. Which bus provides the transportation of the data? Data bus. What does address bus do? Address bus carries the address of the memory location of the data. Data ಯಾವ ಮೆಮೊರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸಿ ಯಾವ ಮೆಮೊರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇದೆ? 3. So what does address bus do? It carries that 3 is the location, it address. It carries the address of memory location of the data. So this is all about buses and its types. Buses and its types. So I will explain some abbreviations now. Before going that, I will explain the generations of the computer. Generations of the computer. You'll get questions from generations of the computer. There are 5 types of generations are there. So there are total 5 types of generation, 5 generations are there. First generation computers. First generation computers. Second generation computers. Third, fourth, and fifth. Third, fourth, and fifth generations of computers. There are total 5 generations in computers. Presently, we are in 5th generation of the computers. What all the computers we use, that comes under 5th generations of computers. So I will explain about first generations now. Generation of computers. It was started in year. It was started in 1940 to 1956. There is a 1956. First generation computers were started in 1940 till 1956. 1956. In first generation computers, what is used? Vacuum tubes were used. Here I say vacuum tubes were used in Eniac. Eniac is the machine. It is the first computer design. But the generation started was in 1940. Here also vacuum tubes were used as the basic components. Vacuum tube were used as a basic component in first generation computers. The speed of this computer is very slow and the storage capacity is very less. Speed is very slow and less storage capacity. Example, as I said, Eniac. Here I told about Eniac. So this is the first generation computers. I will write that on Eniac. Another one is the UNIAC. UNIAC. The full form of this is Universal Automatic Computer. The automatic computer. So first generation computers was started in 1940 till 1956. You may be asked a question like, what is used in the first generation computer as a basic component? Options will be transistors, microprocessors, integrated circuits, and vacuum tubes. So keep it in mind, vacuum tubes are used in first generation computers. Let us move to the second generation now. Second generation computers. It was started in 1956 till 1963. 1906 till 1963. So what is used in second generation computers? Transistors. Transistors were used in second generation computers in place of vacuum tubes. So in first generation computers, vacuum tubes were used. In place of vacuum tubes, they started using the transistors. Thus were used in second generation computers. Transistors were used in second generation computers. Speed is much faster compared to the first generation computers, and the storage capacity is higher than the first generation computers. Speed and storage is improved. Yes, speed and storage improved compared to first generation computers. Just keep it in mind which component is used in the particular generations of the computer. Transistors were used in the second generation computers, vacuum tubes were used in the first generation computers. Just keep it in mind which basic components are used generations of the computer. In third generation computers, think integrated circuits were used. Yes, in third generation computers, integrated circuits were used. Third generation computers were, I will give some examples for second generation computers. IBM, they will not ask you the examples of the generations of the computer. They may ask the examples of first generation computers only. Eniac, it is the important. It is Eniac and UNIAC. Let us move to third generation of the computers. The example for second generation of computers is IBM 360. There are many examples are there related to the second generation of the computers. IBM 360 is the example of second generation computers. Third generation computers, it was started in 1964 to 1971. 1964 to 1971. So which component is used in third generation of the computers? It is integrated circuits were used in third generation of the computers. So that component is very important. Just keep it in mind which all components is used in the generations of the computer. Integrated circuits were used in third generation of the computers. Integrated circuits were used in third generation of computers. You will get one question from these generations of the computer. It is the definite question from the generations of the computer. Just remember these components: transistors, integrated circuits, vacuum tubes. All these were used in generations of the computers. Which component is used in third generation of the computers? They may ask a question like, Which component is used in third generation of the computers? The answer is integrated circuit. They may reverse this question like transistors were used in what type of generations of the computer? In which generation of the computer transistors were used? Options will be first generation, second, third, and fourth generation of the computer. So just keep it in mind. Just remember the components of the components which is used in that particular generations. So the next generation is fourth generation of the computers. In fourth generation of the computers, microprocessor were used. Microprocessor were used. 620 is 1620. Second generation computers example is 1620. IBM 1620 it is. Fourth generation of the computer. So fourth generation computers started in 1971 to 1980. 1971 to 1980. So what is used in fourth generation of the computers? Microprocessors. Microprocessors were used in fourth generation computers. Fourth generation computers. Microprocessor were used in fourth generation computers. Finally, fifth generation computers. What all type of the computers we are using presently that comes under fifth generation of the computers, and it is an artificial intelligence. Presently the fifth generation computers means it is AI, that is robotics. It is an artificial intelligence. The example for fourth generation computers is mini computer, mainframe and personal computer. Mini computer, mainframe computers and personal computer. Fifth generation computers. Fifth generation computers. 1971 it is, sorry. 1971. Fifth generation computers. It started in 1980 till date. 1980 till date. So the fifth generation computers. whatever the computers we are presently using comes under fifth generation of the computers. It involves the concept of artificial intelligence. Presently, the computer involves the concept of artificial intelligence, which uh, made computers to think like human beings, fifth generation computers, artificial intelligence, yes. Fifth generation computers was the concept of called AI, that is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, which made computers to think like human. All these are the generations of the computers. Very last scale integration. Tell you one more point. This generation uses VLSI, VLSI and QLSI. That is very large scale integration. Very large scale integration. You may get a question like VLSI comes under what type, which generation? That is fifth generation of the computers. VLSI means ultra large scale integration. So these are the generations of the computer. Definitely will get a questions related to these generations. Just remember this first point, whatever. In first generation of the computers, vacuum tubes were used. In second generation of the computers, transistors were used. In third generation of the computers, integrated circuits were used. In fourth generation of the computers, microprocessors were used. And in fifth generation of the computers, artificial intelligence were used, which made computers to think like human beings. They will not ask you the example because fourth generation of the computers having so many examples. So this is all about the generations of the computers. Mechanical adding machine, which is the first calculating machine. You may get a question like calculating machines, which is the first calculating machines. Pascaline. Pascaline is also called as arithmetic machine. Yes, first calculator or adding machine. So these all are the very important key points. First, calculating machine, which is the first calculating, which is the first calculating machine. The first calculating machine or arithmetic machine. Is the first calculating machine or the first arithmetic machine. It is Pascaline, Pascal calculator or Pascaline. Pascal calculator is the answer. Pascal calculator is the first calculating machine. It is the first calculating machine invented by Pascaline. So these are the one word answers, which is the first calculating machine or arithmetic machine, or who invented the first calculating machine or the arithmetic machine. Uh, who is the first lady programmer? First the programmer, or who is the father of computers? All these are the one word answers. Who is the father of the computer? The father of the computer, many of you all know, is Charles Babbage, who is the father of the computer. Who is the father of the computer? It is Charles Babbage. The first programmer. Who is the first programmer? It is lady. It is lady Ada Lovelace. Who is the first programmer? She's the lady. Is Lovelace. Which engine is developed to perform differential equations? Difference engine is performed and developed by Charles Babbage. And developed by Babbage. the engine? What is the name of the engine developed by Charles Babbage? What is the name of the engine developed by Charles Babbage to perform differential equations? Differential equations. The answer is difference engine. It is difference engine. So difference engine is the name of the engine. It is developed by the Charles Babbage, who is also the father of the computer, to perform the differential equations. ENIAC is the electronic numerical integrator, uses electronic vacuum tube, EDVS. I will use some abbreviations now. I will give some abbreviations. They may ask you full forms in your exam. Abbreviations. ENIAC. This ENIAC, it is an electronic numerical integrator and calculator. The first computer designed in 1946. Vacuum tapes used in ENIAC. UNIAC, Universal Automatic Computer. Automatic is automatic computer. Next one is ENIAC. By these full forms. ENIAC. It is electronic numerical integrator. Uses electronic vacuum tube. ENIAC. I already explained about this. EDVAC. EDVAC. That is electronic discrete variable automatic computer. Electronic discrete variable automatic computer. Electronic discrete variable automatic computer. Von Neumann. EDVSC, that is electronic discrete variable automatic computer. Next one is EDSAC. EDSAC, electronic delay storage automatic calculator. It is electronic delay storage. Electronic delay storage automatic calculator. Electronic delay storage automatic calculator developed by Fish. So you will not get questions from all this complicated. Important here is who is the father of the computer, who is the first who invented, which is the first calculating machine, and who is the first programmer. These three are the main questions, and these are just the abbreviations. Get few abbreviations in your exam. ASCII. ASCII is a format. What do you mean by ASCII? ASCII is a format that are text are stored in the computer. So you may get a question like, in which format text is stored? In ASCII format or in EBC DIC format. There is a little bit description about keyboard. We give you the full form of ASCII first. ASCII, ASCII, that is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. The standard code for information interchange. The first considered as the first computer. ABDIC. It is extended binary coded decimal. Extended binary coded decimal. Extended binary coded decimal interchange code. So these are the abbreviations. So in the next class, I will start about the bits and the bytes. In the next class, I will give some questions along with the options. All those questions will be related to the concept which I have taught today. In the bytes, 1 byte is equals to 8 bits. I will write here. Related to bytes, I will start it in the next class. So this is all about the basics of the computer organization. So this is all about the basics of the computer organizations. You'll get many questions from these topics. So students, just go through all these concepts. In the next class, I will give you some questions related to these concepts along with the options. So in the next class, I will move on to the bits and the bytes and the conversations. Those conversations are very important. Conversations like binary to hexadecimal, hexadecimal to octal, all those are the conversations. You will get at least 2 or 3 questions from those conversations. Okay, thank you.